Have you ever gone through something really tough, like a breakup, and instead of just, being sad, you find yourself making a mental list of all the psychological reasons it was never going to work? Or maybe you get some bad news at work, and instead of feeling that sting of disappointment, you immediately start drafting a plan, analyzing every single thing that went wrong. If that sounds familiar, then we're about to dive into this fascinating shield your brain puts up. It's called intellectualization. Just think about it for a second. The last time you were really, truly hurt, did you let yourself feel that messy, raw pain? Or did you kind of switch into detective mode, trying to explain the why behind it all? Laying out all the reasons with this cool, detached logic, almost like you're describing someone else's problem. And hey, if that's resonating with you, it's not just some weird personal quirk. Nope, this is a powerful, well-known thing in psychology. It's a defense mechanism that our minds use, a lot of the time without us even realizing it, just to protect us from emotions that feel way too big to handle. So that brings us right to our first section, explaining away the pain. And this is more than just a saying, it's an active strategy, right? It's your mind basically deciding, you know what, it's safer to think about this feeling than to actually be in it. So let's break down how this actually works. Really, at its core, this whole thing is about self-protection. When an emotion like grief or intense anger or just that crushing fear, when it feels like a giant tidal wave about to crash over you, your brain just frantically looks for a way out. And for a lot of us, that escape hatch is pure, clean logic. It's like a retreat into the safety of your mind when your heart feels like a total storm. Okay, so how exactly does this protective shield even work? Let's peel back the layers and get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening psychologically. We're about to look at a couple of key terms that are really going to help us understand this whole process on a much deeper level. And here it is, the official name for what we've been talking about, intellectualization. As you can see, it's a defense mechanism where we use reasoning to avoid dealing with tough emotions head-on. Just think of it like building a fortress made of facts and theories to keep all those messy, chaotic feelings out. So instead of feeling the simple sting of rejection, you might start analyzing, say, the sociological patterns of modern dating. And the number one tool in this whole process is something called cognitive distancing. This is the how. It's the actual act of stepping back from a situation to look at it from this detached, almost third-person point of view. It's like you become a scientist studying your own life under a microscope, all to avoid that emotional gut punch. So who's most likely to do this? Well, what's fascinating is that it's especially common in highly intelligent people. And when you think about it, that makes total sense, right? If your greatest strength is your analytical mind, that's the first tool you're going to reach for when you feel emotionally threatened. You're basically using your superpower to try and get some control back when everything else feels totally out of control. But here's the catch with any shield. There's always a trade-off. While it might protect you from what's coming at you, it can also wall you off from the world. And that brings us to our third section, the price of protection. Let's talk about the hidden costs of relying on this defense. And this perfectly illustrates that central conflict. The benefit? It's obvious. You're shielded from that immediate, sharp emotional pain. But the cost? Well, that can be huge. To the people who care about you, this constant analysis can make you seem distant, disconnected. They're trying to hold your hand, and you're handing them a flowchart. Over the long term, the consequences of this can be really serious. It can lead to what psychologists call emotional intimacy blocks. See, you've built this wall to keep the pain out, but that very same wall can also stop other people from ever getting truly close to you. And that can be a really lonely fortress to live in. This quote just nails the whole dilemma, doesn't it? High intelligence allows you to see the why of a feeling, which can prevent you from actually experiencing the feeling itself. I mean, wow. It's such a powerful idea that your greatest intellectual strength can accidentally become your biggest roadblock to real, genuine emotional experience. Okay, so where do we go from here? In our final section, we're going to get to the core conflict at the heart of all of this, that constant battle between thinking versus feeling. And this is the bottom line, the most important takeaway. Your mind completely gets the emotion. It can analyze it, chart it, practically write a dissertation on it. But while your mind is busy understanding, your heart is still just holding on, struggling to do the one thing it really needs to do. Just feel it, process it, and finally, let it go. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. When your mind becomes this perfect, impenetrable shield, what are you really keeping out? Is it just the pain? Or are you also blocking out the connection, the vulnerability, and all the rich, messy, beautiful emotional experiences that make us fully human? Something I think about.